What is up, everybody? Music Mayhem is live once again.
Yes,
I am Danny.
I'm Riley. What's going on, guys?
All right. So if anybody has actually caught one of our last live feeds, that was a little bit of an experiment with a couple of friends of ours, and it was what it was, and we kind of felt like maybe for the integrity of our page, we needed to go ahead and start a little bit just because we are as new as we are. But nonetheless, we are going to go ahead and do a reaction video once again, which is what this page is dedicated to. Right. For anybody who follows us on Tipsy Talk as well, you know that we do some sports stuff. We do some news stuff.
Which is our Facebook page.
It is. So we do some sports stuff. We do some news stuff. We kind of get into all genres of life in general. Yeah, of course. But for Music Mayhem purposes, we are doing live music reaction videos. And with that said, we are going to go ahead and get into one more. Yeah. This is going to be Bad Wolves, Remember When. This is a band that Riley and I are really, really getting into. Yeah. And, you know, their first actual album doesn't even come out until May 11th. Yeah. Which I'm very much looking forward to.
Yeah, we heard the cover of Zombie that they did from the Cranberries. Yep. That was kind of what initially turned us on to them to look into a little bit further about what they did. I think that Tommy Vex he has a really good voice.
He also has an incredible backstory.
He does.
And there's actually one up on YouTube. If you hear, Tommy Vex interview, or if you actually look up on YouTube Tommy Vex interview, you'll get exactly what you were looking for from a backstory standpoint. Sure. We also heard, we heard To the Ghost. We heard a bunch of other songs, Better the Devil, which is, to this point in what we've heard, that's my favorite song. Okay. And we're going to see these guys live in August. We are. And I'm really hoping that we hear that song along with a couple of others that we heard. Toast to the Ghost was good. It wasn't bad, but Better the Devil for me, that's where it's at right now. Yeah.
This is a song that we both have not heard yet. And that is the reason why we're going to go ahead and do a reaction video to this. Yep. We understand that this is a little bit more down our, a little bit more down our lane, if you will. This is kind of what we listen to. Yep. But we have done reaction videos in the past of bands in the same aspect that we do like that maybe we haven't had the greatest aspect of. So we'll be able to listen to this and again, give you our honest opinion about it because we have not heard it and we don't know what we're going into to begin with. Right. Right. We will pause in between. If we need to pull lyrics, we'll pull lyrics. But just for copyright purposes, we will pause in between a little bit. But everything that we've heard of these guys so far, I don't know that there's been one bad song that we've necessarily heard yet. Maybe a couple of questionables here and there, but that's expected out of
course,
out of any album, really.
Of course. And the one song that we have heard that was kind of on the, all right, well, let's see what else they got. Yeah. And that would be Toast to the Ghost. That was one of those that was like, okay, all right. We're hoping that as they leak these songs, which is how we've been finding them, they've actually been leaking these songs one by one. Yeah, which is a great idea by them, especially considering that their album has not leaked. Of course. Or gone out officially. So sure. So and I know that we did one on our Tipsy Talk page. I believe it was our Tipsy Talk page where it was Tommy Vex with Diamante. That was a cool fucking song. That was really good. And it was a ballad. It was Diamante and Tommy Vex being able to go ahead and portray who they are as actualists. Yeah, I thought it was very, very good.
Well, and they got us to get into Diamante a little bit more.
It did,
which is what you kind of look for. Maybe if not all genres, especially the rock genre. You get those moments where maybe you've heard of one person and you haven't heard of the other, but you will feature certain people in, and then it really kind of piques your interest. If you
it kind of expands your mind in the genre that you're looking for, and we didn't know exactly what we were going to understand or get to know from Diamante.
Yeah.
After that collaboration with Tommy Vexed. And you know what? She's kind of in the same genre. She's in the in that little bit of female lead hard rock kind of deal. Yeah, you know what I mean? And she's not bad.
Yeah, it was good.
She's not bad.
So with that being said, let's go ahead and just jump into the music.
I'm ready. Let's go.
So this one again, it's called Remember When.
Yep.
And it's by Bad Wolves. Let's go.
I'm kind of hoping for a little bit of a build-up right now.
It's thrown up where you expect it almost. There's got to be a breakdown.
Right, there has to be. Tommy Vexed sounds great, bro.
That's a great voice. There you go. Come on. You knew that was coming.
Absolutely. Pause it for a second.
Yeah, man.
All right. You know what? So
I feel like I have to get the lyrics for this a little bit.
I agree, and I'll talk through it a little bit. I'll give you my idea about what we got. So there's quite a few songs from Bad Wolves that we've heard. That quite a few of it is on the screaming aspect, or the growling aspect. But we got to hear what he sounds like as an actual individual vocalist. From Zombie and from that Diamante song that we heard.
He has a very, very good voice.
He does. But to hear that this is just them as a band.
Yeah, of course.
And for him to be singing and having done no growling at all at one point.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he's trying to display himself as well as the band. I like the fact that you really didn't get the understanding of what was going to happen from an instrumentation standpoint right away, and then all of a sudden it was like you can almost feel it.
Well, you felt it drop low because the instruments kind of cut.
Yep,
and then you knew that it was about to just come right back with a vengeance. Essentially, right. Like it wasn't going to come back with that slow lead in. It was going to drop, and and that is what these guys, most other rock bands, even if it's not right away, that's what I love so much about rock music. I really do, because you have a point, whether either you're starting off hard or you're starting off a little slow like this one did, you're kind of accentuating the voice, and then you kind of let your instruments take place, or you let your voice take place, and then it all just kind of collides back together.
And that's what we got during really the first chorus of Hear It, man.
Yeah.
And I agree with that, because like I said, the things that we heard prior to, it was you either got instrumentation or you got Tommy Vexed. If it wasn't a ballad type situation.
Yeah. Well, there has been a couple of songs too where we've heard from these guys where, even though we enjoyed the song a bit, there was a time where I think it was at least one of them, and I can't remember the name of the song.
I think it was Toast to the Ghost.
It might have been, but it was like he had a good voice and you had good instrumentals, but you were just waiting for
everything
that change of pace, essentially, just to build right back up, and you never got it.
Of course.
So this one has already started out really well.
I agree.
I definitely like it so far. I want to get a little bit further into what we're listening to. That way I can kind of figure out where I need to be on the lyrics standpoint.
Okay.
But so far, I thought the lead-in was good. It started out kind of that methodical pace. You had his voice, which really stands out. And then you were able to drop it there for a minute. And I knew that it was coming to a point where it was going to get harder. So I want to see where it goes from here, and then we'll jump into the lyrics a little bit.
That's fair. Let's go. See, right back into the second verse. I like that.
And it slows it back down a little bit.
Yeah. You see, they could have hit you right there. They didn't. They could have. They want to keep it going a little bit
because they know the big drop's coming.
Boom!
Okay.
Right into it.
I'm gonna stop it.
I like that, bro.
All right,
I like that.
I want to get into the lyrics a little bit, just because I think that we can get a better idea. And I know that we've taken them down, but I think that one massive thing about rock music is that, excuse me, if you don't look up the lyrics, chances are you're going to get a part of them wrong.
Hands down.
But you can still kind of gain the main message, if you will. But for me, I do like looking into it more and knowing exactly what the guy is saying, especially because you can kind of get that feeling from the beat, and you're just like, I want to know where this guy's coming from. I want to know what he's feeling, essentially.
Well, and going along with that, when it comes along with the feeling of what's going on, when you start to get into the more hardcore part of things, or into the more in-depth musicality of things, you can kind of sense a lyric change, as well as a musicality change, where things just become harder at that point, because things just happen to go ahead and collide 100%.
Sure.
You know, so you have your ballad aspects of things, and they are a little bit softer. You get your good lyrics, but then all of a sudden, when there's something that's going on inside whoever's head that this song is about, you know, things come along, and it's like, okay, we're going to hit you with this right now. That's because this is what we're feeling, and this is how prevalent we want to make things known as to why we made this song. And you know, we listen to a lot of rap music, hip hop music. We do a lot of reaction videos to bullshit that we don't even fucking like. But from a lyricist standpoint, and from an instrumentation standpoint,
there you go.
This is fuck you. This is why we like what we like.
Yeah, of course. So let's go into the lyrics a little bit.
Fair enough. Let's go.
It starts off, it says, "Remember when," which is the name of the song. It says, "When it was 1992, two little kids stealing records, skipping school."
Okay, so hold on. He's actually telling you a story.
Well,
right off the bat.
Well, we will see as we go a little bit further, but it seems that way so far.
Okay.
We must have been like only 10, taking life for granted till we learned it had an end. So, I mean, yeah, you're kind of catching, like, okay, so we're young and naive.
That's pretty much.
We're kind of doing what we want to do without any worry of consequence or anything like that.
Or at least at this point, you're starting to be conscious of the fact that there are consequences coming through.
Right.
And that's what we all go through.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
And then so you have in the parentheses, then, remember when. So it's almost like you're looking back, essentially, like, oh yeah, and you know what? We are all guilty of it, and don't act like you're not.
I'm glad you said that, bro.
If you have never been to a point where you're like, you know what? You remember that time? Then you didn't. Then you had such a sheltered childhood that you don't know what it's like,
exactly.
And especially in the PC age that we have.
Fuck yeah.
You know what, man? When we were kids, we spent our lives outside. We did just whatever we wanted, and you knew that it was just, oh, street lights came on, we go back, and your parents would have never known anything different about what you did from the moment you walked outside to the moment you had to be in.
Well, because your parents knew exactly what you were doing during that time.
Sure.
And, you know, I grew up in an age, and so did you, for the most part, where it was, you could never keep me inside.
No. Well, what was there to keep you in there?
There was nothing there.
Right. We're gonna watch Jeopardy for the fucking millionth time,
right? Or Wheel of Fortune right before Jeopardy,
right.
You know, it was one of those things where
the fun was where you interacted with people that were near you.
Yep.
You went out and did stuff.
Yep.
Whether it was the right stuff or the wrong stuff, I mean, that is what it is at this point.
Right. Right.
You knew what it was. Okay.
Right.
So let's go on a little bit further. Time is something they say you never appreciate till you age. I think that kind of plays right into what we've been talking about.
Exactly.
Until the day you never knew. I wanted to be just like you. I am
whoever
curious.
You is.
Yeah, I'm curious to know
whoever you is.
Maybe a father figure or something like that, because you maybe didn't know. But let's go.
And considering the fact that things have not really divulged itself at this point,
yeah,
you is probably your father
or whoever your prominent
figure
is.
Exactly.
Okay, so going on from there, it says, and I think this might be the course. If I only knew then what I know now, then what I know now. If I only knew then what I know now, then what I know now. And that I'm pretty sure that's the course. It's just repetitive on those two lines.
Okay.
I don't know that we've gotten through the second verse yet. So let's go ahead and roll into it a little bit more, and then we'll divulge into it a little bit.
And that's fair.
Okay?
That's fair. But I do have some thoughts.
Yeah.
This is definitely the second chorus.
I do like the sound, though.
It's a great sound.
Instrumentally, it's very clean.
It is.
And his voice is fucking great.
It is, bro.
It's really, really good.
It is, man. We haven't done a reaction video to Better the Devil. I would love for everybody to hear the screaming aspect of this guy, how clean it still sounds.
Okay, so because that is probably the second chorus version, I do want to get to the second verse real quick, because I know that we're gonna try and fucking wrap this up a little bit.
Yep.
That's great. Because we don't want to make this too long.
That's great musicality, man. It is, bro.
But I still do want to know.
Of course, if you divulge a little bit more information. Yeah.
So we started at 1992.
Yep.
So the second verse says, when it was 2002, you started slinging coke and got the dopest pair of shoes. We owe this house a state of home since our father hit the bottom and our mother hit the road.
Okay, so
that's
right there.
Fucking hard.
It is. So what it kind of seems like is if the son or daughter, because we never know what's going on.
Sure.
Is kind of taking the alpha male role in trying to take care of the family kind of deal.
Well, and it's almost. And
am I far-fetched or am I kind of on the right track?
Well, I'm just trying to think of it coming from the first verse. And I could be completely off, and please correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
It almost seems like you went from the first verse where it was, it was almost kind of good. You just kind of knew how life was. You were naive. You didn't really kind of understand anything. And this was just how life was. You get to the second verse and you start realizing that the things that are going on around you might not be the ideal life, if you will, or you start to realize maybe the shadier things that are going on in life, even if it is still your family or something like that. So, it might get into it a little bit more as well, but you just start to realize that everything around you is not all rainbows and roses and stuff. So you start to see certain things that maybe you shouldn't be necessarily divulged to.
Okay,
but you're starting to almost get acclimated to it. Essentially,
that's definitely one case scenario.
Okay,
I might have a little bit of a different scenario.
Okay.
Maybe you grew up understanding one certain aspect of life, and maybe as you're growing up, you're realizing that maybe because of, and I could be completely dark with this, maybe you are having to take on a role that as a child or adolescent, maybe you were not necessarily meant to take on.
Sure.
Maybe
especially because it seems like there is some sort of absentee
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe you were forced into a situation where maybe you had to go ahead,
grow up,
and sell that Coke a little bit to make sure your family ate, or maybe you needed to make sure that you had to take care of things on the street, to make sure that your family was taken care of. Either way, you were forced into a situation that, as a child, you're not necessarily supposed to be forced into.
Yeah, of course.
So it could go either way.
Yeah.
And the fact that the song is named "Remember When," it kind of plays into what we're both saying.
Well,
we really don't know.
It's almost like do you remember the good times? Do you remember the bad times? And maybe the last part will be, this is essentially how we came about ourselves now.
Unless he's actually talking about himself and he's saying, remember when I was subject to not having to deal with much.
Sure.
Now I'm in a remember when I had to go ahead and take care of my immediate family.
Yeah.
In doing things I wasn't necessarily proud of.
So let's figure it out.
Exactly.
Let's try and see if we can get to the bottom of it.
Definitely some more lyrics.
I'm stoked to see these guys, bro.
I'm telling you, man. I have a fucking really, really crazy feeling
they're gonna steal the show.
Positives.
I do like the drop,
and it's coming, and we're right there. So we didn't miss it.
They cut it there.
We didn't miss it. Yeah. I'm telling you, I have a feeling. I've got a really suspicious feeling that when it comes down to us going to see these guys in August, based on what we've heard from Nothing More, we've heard enough of Nothing More. We almost kind of know what you're going to get.
Sure.
As long as it translates into being a live performance.
Yeah, and you know what? Just to break up for a second, everything that I've seen posted up about them, and the fact that we hung out with Amanda and knows them as well,
right?
Everything is pointed to a great show by them.
Right.
But I will say, I think the biggest intrigue about going to see Bad Wolves is the unknowing factor, because they're so new. Like, Nothing More is new, but they've been around for a few years and they're just starting to come on.
Right.
But they've been around.
They haven't even fucking dropped their first album yet.
Bad Wolves they haven't dropped their first album, and the biggest thing about them was that he got blessed enough to sing lead vocals for a band that we love.
For Five Finger.
And so knowing that they start the show, and you have Nothing More right behind them.
And then you got Breaking Benjamin, which you kind of understand what you're going to get at that point.
And same with Five Finger. And you still expect a great show from both of those headliners.
Of course.
But we might be rolling into this show, and we might be leaving that show being like, whoa, bro. Like that
is the next it band, bro.
And I, you know what? I really hope they catch traction. And I say that about a lot of bands that I'm really into. I really do. I Prevail.
Yep.
Nothing more. We're going to go see these guys. Like, there is a sound about these guys that it would just be a massive tragedy
if they went nowhere.
If radio stations and agents weren't able to put these guys' voice on.
I agree.
Because you listen to a lot of things that come out these days, and I will say this with all due respect to Theory of a Dead Man, Breaking Benjamin, Chevelle, all these guys that have already built a name around them.
And even the shit that's leaked online from goddamn Five Finger.
Exactly. These guys are holding weight in the radio community based upon their past.
Correct. Correct.
Don't let somebody new slip through the cracks just because you're more focused upon people who have already built their name and isn't maintaining the name.
I agree.
So I really, you know what? I have no doubt that we're going to have a lot of fun. I have no doubt that those two starting bands are going to be good. The only thing that I hope is that as good as they are and as good as I expect them to be, that they are not the ones that take it over.
Of course.
And if they do, understand that when we go on Tipsy Talk on the next Monday after that, we will fucking let you know.
Oh, hey, we will tear Five Finger apart. And we will tear Breaking apart. Exactly. We will tear Breaking
and you know what? And I will tell you this. We go there and nothing more isn't what we expected, or Bad Wolves is not what we expected.
Hey,
we'll sit there and tell you, hey,
we were wrong.
We will sit there and tell you. Studio, yes.
Yep.
Live, no.
Absolutely.
But I do like this song, and I have liked almost every song I've heard from these guys. I know we're going close to 30 minutes, which is a little bit longer than we like to go on a YouTube.
Especially for YouTube, yeah.
But we only have about another minute left, and I do want to finish this off.
Let's finish it up.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can not like this, bro.
I'm not going to lie, bro. Of all the songs I've heard from these guys, this might be my favorite so far.
Even better than The Devil? Really? Yeah. Do you remember Better Than The Devil?
I do.
Do you?
I had a couple of issues with that song. I like the song.
Hold on. Let's finish this off. Maybe we'll do a reaction video to Better Than The Devil after this.
Okay. I like this, bro. I really, really like this.
Look what it's asking us to do next.
Okay.
We'll do that one next.
Yeah.
You know what, guys? We're going to go ahead. We're going to cut this video right now. I know we've given you guys a lot of input as to what we think about this song and what we think about this band.
Well, and you know what? If anything, because we typically do songs out of our league, this, if anything, should give you a better understanding about who we are, about what we like, why we enjoy what we enjoy, even if it's just from one song.
And that's fair, but at the same time, understand that, you know, on our Tipsy Talk page, we did a reaction video to the newest Five Finger song.
I think we did to a couple of them.
We did.
Yeah.
We did Champagne and we did whatever the fuck that was. Fake. You're right. We are not opposed to trashing songs from bands that we like.
Yeah.
These things are completely unbiased. We are ready to let you know exactly what we think.
Yeah.
So 30 minutes is up. We're going to go ahead. We're going to cut this song right now.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe. Let us know exactly what you think. Please leave these things in the comments.
You know what? If you guys enjoyed this, please go to Facebook, look up Tipsy Talk with R&D.
Yep.
We do a Monday show every week live.
Yep. And
we also do music reactions on that.
We do.
We are starting to veer towards the side of things that maybe we want you guys to hear on that aspect, but understand that we will always have this channel available for anything that you want us to react to. Please let us know what you want us to react to. We will give you guys our honest opinion about everything.
That's right.
But we are going to take a quick fucking break.
Yep.
And we will be back whenever we're back to give you guys another reaction video and dive a little bit more into this.
We will be going ahead and keeping with the Bad Wolves, little thing right now. We're going to do Better Than The Devil here in the next little bit. Whatever a little bit is, maybe 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is.
Right.
Please just come back and join us. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Please subscribe.
Yeah.
And let us know exactly what you think.
Cheers, guys.
See you guys in a little bit.